Hello, hello, my friends. It has been all quiet on the Kringle new release front for about the last 2 months. However, in the month of June, that silence has ended. Yesterday, Country Candle, which is a subsidiary brand of Kringle, released 10 limited edition summer fragrances. And when I previewed that launch earlier this week, I touched on, or I tried to vaguely cover the topic that there were some more things down the pipeline. However, I explained in that video that I kind of was under a gag order still, even though there was a bit of a glitch that happened on the website last month. The ambassadors were still asked not to share details of that release yet. However, the gag order has now been removed. As of Friday, June 7th, today, we are allowed to now speak openly about this new release that is coming from Kringle Candle. Yes, if you are in the Facebook group, you saw a little preview of this last week when that website glitch happened. Kringle Candle is releasing 6 new summer reserve fragrances. And what makes this video a little bit more fun than the one that I did earlier this week, not only am I going to preview the candles for you, just letting you know what I think they're going to smell like, I actually have all 6 candles here in front of me to share with you guys. So a big thank you to Kringle Candle for sending me these candles in PR. This video is not sponsored by Kringle, by the way. I always have to check off the box that puts like a paid promotion banner up here somewhere whenever I am really just like exclusively talking about products that I received in PR. So I did want to make that clarification. This is not a sponsored video. That's an entirely different thing. This is just me basically talking about a new launch that's coming up, and I happen to have already received them in PR. So always like to be very transparent with you guys and let you know what's going on there. So in this video today, I'm going to be going over all of the launch information, fragrance notes, price points, my discount code, all of that information, as well as I'm going to address some concerns that you may have. I know that the temperatures are heating up for most of us across the country, so I'm going to share some of my personal experience with candles being shipped to pretty hot climates. So anyways, we're going to talk about all of that. As always, I will have all of that information listed and linked with timestamps in the description box down below for you, so that way you can always refer back to it. And stay tuned for the end of this video, because I am going to be sharing with you which ones are so far my favorite. And I'm also going to be asking for a little bit of your feedback. So please hit thumbs up if you like this video. If you're coming across my channel for the first time, hi, I'm Katie. I love to talk all things candles here on my channel. A couple of years ago when I started my channel, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to focus more on beauty or home fragrance content. And I found that as I kind of got the ball rolling a little bit more on my channel, I really enjoyed producing content with home fragrance a little bit more than the beauty spectrum. So that's why my channel is called Katie's Joyful Life. It was just kind of like things that bring me joy, and candles bring me a lot of joy. So if they bring you a lot of joy, I think that you would like to stick around for my channel. So please consider hitting that subscribe button before you get on out of here. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a free thing, but it just makes it easier to access new videos when I upload them. And boy, oh boy, I've had a lot of new videos this week. So you guys all know I like to talk a lot. Let's stop talking so much about an intro and let's get into what you're really here for, these 6 new reserve candles. So I did let you guys know in that country video that this launch is not happening this next week. I know that some of you guys were a little concerned that Kringle was going to do to us like what they did earlier this year, when it seemed like every week there was a new launch. Launch information for this lineup here is that this collection will be launching on Thursday, June 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've got about 2 weeks until the launch, so we've got time to budget if we need to. Like I said, the 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time launch, that's kind of what they've been doing, I want to say, since earlier this year, I would say. Kringle was great about listening to some feedback. I know that for people like me on the West Coast, that previous 9 a.m. launch time was really difficult because it meant that we had to get up really early, especially if we wanted to get our hands on some candles that had a high sellout risk. So 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are the 22 ounce, so large tumbler format, 2 wick, 100% soy vessels. They come in the black vessels. I'm going to show you. I shot B-roll for you guys, so you're going to see all of these candles, what they look like up close and personal. And let's see, I do have a discount code that is eligible to be used on this launch. The price point, I believe, is $34. That has been what the reserve candles have been in the recent past, and we have not received any word that there have been any price increases. So I believe that these will be $34 each. Like I said, I have a discount code of 15%. If you enter the code Katie15, you will save 15% off of your order. Please know that that code, as well as any other ambassador codes, are eligible for a commission. So only use that if you are comfortable doing so. Let's see, what else did I want to say here? I did want to let you guys know my personal experience, because I do live in Arizona, a very, very hot climate, unless you didn't know that. If you live under a rock, it gets extremely hot here in Arizona. And if anybody else tells me, but it's a dry heat, I just might say, yeah, and so is an oven. But I will tell you that these candles arrived on my doorstep on a 100-degree day, and they arrived around like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I will tell you that they were not melted. The wax was okay. Now, we will talk about, unfortunately, one of my candles was damaged in shipping. I have already contacted my contact, I guess, at Kringle, and they are sending me out another one, thankfully, and we'll talk about that. At least I can still give you cold sniff impressions on it. But the wax itself was fine. I will tell you that the only time that I have experienced melted wax upon delivery was last summer. I ordered the fall collection when it came out. I want to say that was around like mid-July. And during that time period, the Phoenix area was going through about a 2-week stretch of 120-degree temperatures. It was insanely hot. Well, even though I don't live in Phoenix, I live about an hour outside of the Phoenix metro area. All shipments for UPS come in through a Phoenix distribution center. We all know that those UPS trucks are kind of just like one giant metal box, and my candles were sitting on those trucks, and those did arrive melted to me. Just know, like, take pictures and whatnot. The Kringle customer service office is really, really good about getting back to, well, they were good about getting back to me, and they actually gave me a full refund on that purchase. So just be aware, you might, if you're just concerned about heat risk, there you go. That's just been my personal experience. All right. I feel like that has covered everything. We have the launch date, the time, the vessels, the 100% soy wax. I think we're ready to go ahead and talk about these fragrances. All right, the first candle that I am going to showcase is the one that I think a lot of people are really excited about. This is caramel, cocoa, and toasted fluff. So the top notes listed on this fragrance are top notes of caramel sweet, mid notes of marshmallow and vanilla cream, base notes of chocolate and caramel. So, what does my nose detect on cold? I like this fragrance a lot. This to me feels like it's going to be a really good year-round fragrance if you are somebody who likes gourmand scents. I get the caramel note in here. Now, I know caramel scares people off sometimes. The caramel in here smells somewhat similar to, I forgot to look up what candle it was. Spoiler alert, I did start burning this one the day that I got these candles in. It reminds me of the caramel note that is in, I think it's called like vanilla waffle cone. Kringle does a little bit different take on caramel, where it's not overly cloying and sweet. I know sometimes Harry Slatkin puts a lot of caramel in his gourmand fragrances, and his can be very, very sweet. This caramel, to my nose, is more salted, buttery goodness mixed with a little bit of that brown sugar. I will tell you that my experience with a lot of the Kringle candles in the 3-wick format, like the Bananas Foster fragrance, like that, even that vanilla waffle cone when they had it in the happy birthday packaging. Remember the 3-wick last year that had all the balloons on it? I did find that if I burned that candle a little too long with the 3 wicks, it almost started to take on like a burned toffee note. However, I burned this candle. I burned it once already, and I burned it for about 3.5 hours, and I didn't get that burned note going on. I definitely smelled the caramel. There is a little bit of cocoa in the background. It's not the dominant scent. Caramel is definitely the dominant scent, followed by the cocoa, and there is like a fluffy vanilla type of fragrance in the back. I really, really like this one. And I think this is the fragrance that a lot of people are really going to be interested in. And also the picture on here, I think I may have put on 5 pounds just looking at it, because that is a sugar lover's delight right there. My dad used to call it diabetic's delight whenever he would see something really sugary. So that is the first fragrance that I'm going to talk about here. The second fragrance, you know what? Actually, I'm going to put that one down because I was just burning it and I want the wax to harden a little bit. The second fragrance that I'm going to talk about is Bonfire. So we've got a picture here of what looks like a beach bonfire here. So the fragrance notes on Bonfire are top notes of pepper and wood, mid notes of cardamom and ginger, and bottom notes of amber and fir. So on cold sniff, I will tell you right off the bat, you guys, I don't detect a smoky note in this. So if you have had some of the other, I guess you would say like fire type of fragrances from Kringle, I will tell you that I'm not detecting a smoky note at all in here. If you're deterred by that, you don't really have to worry because I'm not smelling smokiness in here. I am smelling, this actually almost smells more like the wood that you would use in a bonfire. I do get some of that pepper note on the top. Maybe a little bit of perfume. There is a perfuminess to this, and I do think that it is the amber. It's a sweet perfuminess to it. Fir, for sure, I would say is in here because, you know, it's funny. I let my kids sniff these, and my youngest daughter said, there's something about it that kind of reminds me of a Christmas tree. And I was like, yeah, I get that. And then I looked on the fragrance notes, which also, by the way, in case if you caught it in the B-roll, the fragrance notes are listed on the bottom of these candles, which I love when they do that. It makes it a lot easier for me as a reviewer. But yeah, there's a woody note to this. It's slightly, I think the cardamom and the ginger in those mid notes give this kind of a, there's like a slight, it sounds woody, or it sounds weird, but it's like a woody freshness type of scent. This one is quite strong on cold. I will tell you guys, this is pretty strong on cold. So I like it though. I like it. It's kind of like a nice summery take on a bonfire type of fragrance. It reminds me of, I don't know, just kind of like the air, like there's no salt air vibe to it, but there's a freshness to it that makes me think of like a summertime beach bonfire without there being any overtly beachy fragrances in here. I think cardamom can sometimes come across, it's a seed that can sometimes come across, to my nose, it sounds really weird, almost slightly cotton-like, but it doesn't smell like cotton. I don't know. It comes across kind of fresh. I think that it's the ginger and the cardamom together that gives a little bit of zing of freshness. This one is honestly a little bit hard for me to describe, other than I will tell you that it is not smoky. So that is the good news on that one. So very happy to have that fragrance in my collection. I actually see myself burning that one in the evening, probably with my, you guys all know, my beloved Palo Santo and Vanilla from Bath and Body Works. Or I just recently, oh no, that haul's going up tomorrow. I did just recently haul a candle from a candle brand that you guys will see tomorrow, but I think that it would pair really nicely with that one. All right, let's go ahead and talk about another kind of earthy type of fragrance that is part of this collection, and this is Heartwood. So we've got, you know, a picture of just a pretty plain picture here, not plain, but pretty simple picture here of some wood. The fragrance notes on Heartwood are top notes of sandalwood and green, mid notes of sage and spice, bottom notes of patchouli and amber. So what does my nose smell? Okay. It's funny, you guys, this one, even though this note is not listed in here, my husband smelled this too, and he works, one of his hobbies is woodworking. So I asked him, I said, am I smelling this right? And he said, yes. I smell cedar in here. There's something that's giving a cedar note in here. It might be the patchouli and the patchouli and amber together, because there's kind of a sweetness to it, like a woody sweetness. but I do get the patchouli base in here. So those of you who don't like patchouli may not like this. It's not the same fragrance at all, but I would say last year there was a Hallmarks candle that came out. I want to say it was early fall. I'll put a picture of it up here. It was like cedar and patchouli, or patchouli was in the name. I'll put it up here, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of that vibe. But there is a sweet kind of perfuminess to this. Sage and spice. There is a spiciness to it, but a little bit of green freshness again. These candles, for those of you who may not be very familiar with the Reserve lineup, the Reserve candles tend to be a little bit more conceptual than some of the kind of like mainline Kringle releases. And so that's why sometimes I think a lot of us ambassadors actually have a hard time really describing these fragrances. And also, we always know a lot of candles really transform when they are burning. But I like this one. If you like earthy type of fragrances, I think that you would like this one. Earthy, kind of perfumey. Yeah, it's woody. It's a woody fragrance, but it kind of reminds me of cedar in here. That's kind of what I'm smelling in there. So that is that fragrance. And then another fragrance that, oh my goodness, if you guys have been with my channel for a while, you guys can only guess what my husband Cody's reaction was to to this candle. In fact, it's so funny. I actually wasn't home when these candles were delivered. He was, and my kids were. He opened the box before I even got to them. I was like, "Excuse me, sir." And he was telling me on the phone, and he was like, "That peach one? No, I don't like it." If you're new to my channel, my husband cannot stand peach fragrances. So this is a fragrance that I will definitely have to be burning while he is at work. So the fragrance notes on gingered peach are peach, nectar, those are the top notes, mid notes of apricot and spice, bottom notes of sweet and cane sugar. So what does my nose smell on this? Okay, I definitely smell the ginger. If you are averse to ginger, I will tell you that on cold sniff, the ginger is pretty strong. Apricot, I smell more apricot than I do really peach in here. It's definitely more of like a stone fruit in here. It's funny. This is a type of fragrance that honestly, if I were to go like inside of a store and pick this up, I probably would not purchase it. This is not really in my wheelhouse. And also, just knowing that my husband doesn't like these types of fragrances, I probably wouldn't want to spend my money on candles that I can only burn, in very limited time, or like a limited time window, meaning when he's at work. But it's funny, it's here in front of me, and I just have a feeling that this might be one that when it is burning, I think I actually might enjoy it a lot more than what I'm telling myself I will enjoy it. Or like, yeah, I think that once I get it burning, my mind is very open that I just have this feeling that I might like it a lot more. So this one smells like it would be nice with like a good like vanilla ice cream type of fragrance. But it's nice. But I will tell you that ginger note is very, very strong. And maybe there's a little bit of spice in here. I do get a little bit of spiciness, but it's not like red hot cinnamon spice. Really, like I just said repetitively, ginger and like an apricot note is what I'm getting the most out of here. So it is a sweet fragrance. But I think the ginger note actually keeps it from becoming too cloyingly sweet. So that is that one. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the sad state of what happened here? So I will pop up a picture of this candle because I can't even, it's kind of dangerous, honestly, you guys, for me to try to hold this one for B-roll. But this is Merlot. So you guys can see what happened. It broke. I mean, like it broke. I don't know what those UPS drivers were doing on the truck, but oh well, Kringle is really good about packing too. Like I think I've only had one other candle arrive broken to me. So we all know that this was not our beloved Jamie's fault. In fact, Jamie, of course, included her famous dad joke in the packing slip of this. But those of you who are part of the Kringle community, Jamie is like our unofficial spokeswoman. We all love Queen Jamie, and she did pack this order for me, and she always does a fabulous job. But unfortunately, this one, yeah, it just happens. So the fragrance notes on Merlot are top notes of grape and berry, mid notes of currant and sweet, base notes of berry sugar. So I'm going to try to do this without like getting shards of glass in my eye or my nose, but I actually like this fragrance. I'm glad that they're sending me a replacement. I was very honest with my contact. I said, it's okay if you want to keep them in stock. You know, it was very gracious of you to send it to me anyways. So please don't feel obligated to send me another one. And they were like, no, it's fine. Because I told them, I said, I'd love to burn this so I could do a post-burn review. But they were kind enough to they're sending me another one. I like this scent. There is grape in it. You know what this reminds me of? I know that there's been a couple of candles that I've had from Homeworks that I've talked about. Sometimes they're berry accord. Whatever they're putting in here as a mixed berry, it reminds me a little bit of, I've talked about this. If you've been to like Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California, I think they're owned by, is it Cedar Fair? I think there's a big Cedar Point park like up in Ohio. They're owned by the same company. And there's something about this fragrance. There is grape in here. Now, I am not a wine connoisseur, you guys. I actually don't really drink alcohol a whole lot. I prefer to eat my calories. But so I'm not really familiar with like what a good Merlot would smell like, or is it Merlot? Yeah, what a good Merlot would smell like. See, that shows you how much my knowledge is of alcoholic beverages. Or if I do drink an alcoholic beverage, it's usually a fruity cocktail by the pool. I'm not really a wine drinker. But I like this. It's sweet. I feel like it's one that'll carry nicely as like a summer to fall transitional scent. I don't really detect any kind of alcohol in here, but it almost smells like it's not like a Kool-Aid or anything like that. So if you see that grape note in there and it worries you, it's more of like a deep, bold type of grape note. But the berry in there is really nice. The berry is almost like maybe like a blackberry raspberry type of mixture. I really like that one. So I'm glad that they're being generous enough to send me another so that way I can burn it. But yeah, it was really sad that it arrived like that for me. All right, and then I let the wax harden on this final candle, which is another one that I think a lot of people are very intrigued by. And this is Grilled PB&J. There's nothing like the American classic of peanut butter and jelly. So fragrance notes on Grilled PB&J are top notes of peanut butter, mid notes of grape and raspberry, base notes of nut and sugar. So I've never had a grilled peanut butter and jelly, but doesn't that sound divine? I know that I don't actually eat a whole lot of peanut butter and jelly anymore these days because the way that I like it is completely unhealthy. I love it on just like good old white bread. But let me pull this off gently because I was burning this right before I started filming. So I did want the wax to harden up a little bit. Now, this to me, I'm going to tell you, I get more of the savory note of like peanut butter, but it's not distinctly like, you know, sometimes you walk into a place, and I'm very well aware of this because my youngest child actually does have a peanut allergy. She's okay as long as she doesn't ingest them. So like she can be around it in the atmosphere. She just can't actually like put peanuts into her mouth and swallow them. But like we've walked into, what's that store? It's called like Twisted Sugar. It's like crumble cookie. And you know, when like they're baking like a peanut butter cookie, like some places, like, you know, the distinct smell of peanut butter. That's not what I'm smelling here. This, I would say that it would probably be more of like a natural peanut butter, but it's not overly peanutty, I guess. Does that make sense? Maybe more of like an almond butter or like it's not an overly sweet peanut butter fragrance in here. I will tell you that the savory note is definitely more forward. That grape and raspberry note that is in the mid note, I will tell you that when I lit this candle, is it grape and raspberry? Yeah, that's in the middle note. That it came out a little bit when I first lit this, but when I initially smell this candle, it's like the sweetness that would come from a grape or raspberry or like a fruitiness is very, very minimal. This is definitely a candle that I would say is more savory than it is sweet. So I did burn this candle prior to me filming this video. I've actually had it burning for a few hours this morning. I will tell you that these are one of the candles that I do think that I am going to have to trim the wicks on because I do have some carbon balls at the top. We never know with these reserve line candles because of the black vessels if they are sooting for us. The wax looks clean and perfectly fine. And honestly, even the wick residue is not falling in and discoloring the wax. So that's good. But I do think that I will trim these wicks a little bit. You probably saw in the B-roll, the wicks themselves are very, very long too. So, but yeah, I mean, the savory note is definitely what's in front of it. A nutty, salty, kind of a creamy vibe. This is one that I think if you burn it for too long, it may start to take on kind of, I don't want to say like a burned toffee note, but I could see that happening if you burn this one for too long. I will tell you, some of the other ambassadors, we kind of have a little group chat going on. And I was telling them this morning that already when I have been burning this candle, you know what my wheels are going with pairing this with? I think that this would make a divine pairing with jelly donut because that fragrance is so like raspberry filling forward that I think the combination of the savoriness of this candle with that raspberry sweetness from the jelly donut, I think that would be a perfect combination. So those are all 6 candles. I'm going to go ahead and try to rank them for you in terms of like my least favorite to my favorite. Just so, and things can change, you guys. Once I start burning these candles, you know how it is. They can really transform. But I do think on Cold Sniff, this might be helpful because I do know some of you guys follow me because we do have similar fragrance preferences. So for those of you who share my fragrance preferences, here's where my ranking's going to go. I'm going to put Heartwood in last place. It's not a bad fragrance. It's just one that's kind of out of my wheelhouse. Kind of reminds me of, excuse me, the kind of like cedar. I would say that probably next to that, so coming in at number 5, I think I'm going to say number 5, oddly enough, I think is going to be the Gingered Peach, just because yeah, peach fragrances, I kind of have to acclimate myself to them because maybe my husband has started to affect me. But the Gingered Peach, there's something about that ginger note that on Cold Sniff is just kind of like, I don't know how much I'm going to love that. Then I would say number 4 would be Bonfire for me. And I am somebody who loves smoky type of fragrances. But like I said, this to me is more like, there's no smokiness to it. It's kind of more of like fresh, like a fresher take on a fire type of fragrance. I guess that's the best way that I could describe it. Coming in at number 3 is actually Merlot. I think that I'm really going to like that fragrance upon burn. I'm really bummed out that it's in that broken vessel, but like I said, I really do like that one. And then to nobody's surprise, these two are honestly going to be a little bit hard for me to pick a favorite. I think I'm going to say number 2 is going to be the grilled PB&J, and coming in at number 1. And the only reason I'm going to give this one the number 1 is because when I first smelled these out of the box, this is the one that I was like, yes, I think I want to order some backups of. This is the caramel cocoa and toasted fluff. I think that one is going to be my winner in terms of just on Cold Sniff, what I am liking the most. So I do want you guys to chime in down below for me. If you are interested in this collection at all, I do have about another 2 weeks until these candles are going to be live and available for you guys to purchase. So if you are interested in these candles, please, would you guys let me know maybe your ranking for what you are most interested in seeing some post-burn reviews on. That actually helps me prioritize what I need to get to burning, so that way I can give you guys some feedback. I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to do post-burn reviews on all 6 of these prior to the launch because I'm very busy right now. I still am a stay-at-home mom. However, we have a local performing arts camp going on this month that I am helping out with in the mornings. So some of my morning burn time has been cut out. And so I'm just really trying to like make a bunch of puzzle pieces all fit right now, just my life in general. But yeah, if you guys can comment down below letting me know which ones you are most interested in, which ones you guys want to see some post-burn reviews on, if I can get to them prior to the launch, would you guys please let me know? I would really, really appreciate that. So that's going to do it for me here today. Did you guys like this video? Are you excited about this launch? Are you thinking, you know what, those don't really sound like they're in my wheelhouse? I know that it's kind of funny, like these are launching on the first day of summer, and we all know next month we are probably going to be seeing fall, Christmas in July. Hard to believe we're coming into that time of year. So I'm really still trying to savor all of the summer fragrances that are currently in my collection. So you guys let me know what you think. Again, please hit thumbs up if you found this video helpful. All of the information still listed in the description box down below. Katie15 will save you 15% off of your purchase at Kringle Candle. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.